experiments were actually done when they weren't. So securing the data is really important, and that includes more and more digital data, which means hard drives, flash drives, anything that's got data on it. And that means going to other laboratories where there's core facility work, animal facilities, card readers where people have to use a card to get into a facility. Those records are usually retained for some period of time. That can tell you whether or not a witness or a respondent is credible when they say they had animals in a facility or they treated them in the middle of the night one night and they weren't there. So all these are important ways to obtain evidence for review by the investigation committee. Emails are often very critical in cases. So sequestration is very important. I could go on for a day on that topic alone. So interviews should be made with transcripts. We use often recommend court reporters, but a tape recorder can be sufficient. Sometimes people are not doing a video recording, but we need to be able to have both transcripts and recording if it exists, because the recording is actually more informative because you hear things in the words and in the language that you don't see on paper. The investigation committee is expected to review all the evidence that's relevant to the allegations, and that can include, for example, draft manuscripts. Okay, it's a big question: how many copies, how many co-authors have copies of the manuscript, and how many copies of the manuscript are there? And where were the changes made, and by who? All those are interesting questions that can be quite relevant to an investigation. Now, when the investigation is nearly or completed, the regulation requires that the institution send a copy of the draft report to the respondent for comment. And often those comments can be 5 or 10 times longer than the report itself, but nevertheless it has to be done. And all that is then sent to ORI along with the letter from the deciding officer as to what the institution's decision was on whether or not there was misconduct. And so with that, ORI's oversight review starts. We often can agree with all, but maybe sometimes only some of the findings. We are fully authorized to interview witnesses independently or in addition to their being interviewed by the institution. We can make additional findings of research misconduct because we have perhaps access to more grants from NIH than the institution did, and the grants are often an area in which we make a lot of findings of misconduct. We, however, may end up deciding that there is insufficient evidence for ORI to make a finding of misconduct. So, and I described already some of the reasons why that might happen. The final outcome is that ORI makes recommendations for findings of misconduct and administrative actions to the Assistant Secretary for Health, who is that's the bureaucratic level just above ORI. More than 80% of all our cases are signed by voluntary agreements between ORI and the respondent. In about 5 years, I did all of those myself because we hadn't done them for the first 15 or so years of ORI's existence, because the lawyers said that they had to do them. And then suddenly in 2007 and 2008, we were told that the lawyers couldn't do them, and we had to do them. And the lawyers always have a good explanation for whatever they say, but I never could figure out why they made a 180-degree turn on that matter. And nobody was comfortable talking to responsive attorneys except me, so I did all the settlements. So a occasionally a respondent will not agree with a proposal to settle voluntarily and will request an administrative hearing before an administrative law judge within our department. And since 2005, the handful of cases, 5 or 6, that have gone to an ALJ have always been found in our favor. So what we attempt to do in our investigation, in our oversight review, is to assign responsibility, because we have to prove for each finding of misconduct who did it, and that there was a sufficient basis for showing that the act of misconduct for each finding was committed with a certain degree of knowledge, that is, intent to deceive, or knowledge that what they did was wrong. There are situations where laboratories may have procedural problems that may have contributed to misconduct, such as the PI actually knowing that misconduct occurred and condoned it. There was a case that I took care of a number of years ago at the University of Kansas involving someone who did some serious plagiarizing, and his supervisor in a bioinformatics facility knew about it and allowed the paper and an abstract to nevertheless be published. So I actually recommended that we make a finding of misconduct against the supervisor, because he knew that the paper his name was on had been plagiarized by somebody else, and that individual agreed to a settlement with us, and so we made a finding on someone who knew that somebody else plagiarized. There's also situations where, on occasion, a laboratory will be, say, particularly large laboratories with many young postdocs and one very senior investigator may have created a culture where the pressure to produce papers is so intense that cheating is widespread among many of the people in the laboratory. And there is often, not always, but sometimes the basis for override in institutions to make findings based on the fact that the individual actually knew or actually instructed individuals to cheat. And so we can make findings against both those individuals and the senior investigator who induced the misconduct. But we don't always find misconduct against the junior people, because they were under severe stress and felt that they had no choice but to be obliged to do what they were told to do. There have been a number of cases where we made findings to the principal investigator and not the junior person. We also, at the end of a case, can recommend, and the word demand is there, but it shouldn't be, because only the editor of the paper can decide to retract or correct the paper, so we can request, the institution can request, the authors can request, the authors can demand, but no one else can. And the journal editors don't have to agree with the authors either. So, but we do try to do the best we can to keep the literature correct. And sanctions, as I mentioned earlier, can include supervision, well, supported by PH funds, or in more serious cases, a federal-wide department is put in place. And all of our findings involve a provision that the respondent does not, cannot in any capacity provide advisory assistance to public health service. It primarily means peer review with NIH and serving on ad hoc advisory committees, even for the FDA, for example. Okay, and then HHS has the authority to recover funds. ORI does not have the authority. So I'm going to go through some example cases. These are, involve Homer Venters, a PhD MD student at the University of Illinois, and Tov Hajra, who had been at the University of Michigan and then at NIH as a graduate student. William Simmons at the University of Texas Health Science Center in Dallas as a graduate student. Mona Therashavam, assistant professor at New Jersey Medical and Dental University. That should be UMDMJ, so I'm sorry it was misspelled. And then lastly, the most serious case that I think I've ever dealt with, that of Eric Pullman, a well-known gerontologist at the University of Vermont, a full professor, very well known around the country, and a man who had been falsified data for a decade in a variety of ways, and he ended up going to jail as a result. So Homer Venters was a student at Illinois. He had been accused of falsification in his PhD research in 2002. Interestingly, he was on basically two different campuses. I don't remember the details because this was, I think, the only one of these cases that was not mine directly. But I do remember a fair amount about it because I did assist a little bit. The MD program thought very highly of him. And when he was investigated by the by the biological sciences area where he was doing his PhD research, the medical school impeded the investigation and caused it to end up with findings of no basis for misconduct finding. I think we got a complainant came to ORI with concerns, and we reviewed their investigation report and disagreed with it because we looked as if there was significant evidence of falsification figures, and demanded that Illinois redo their investigation. They did so, and this is a result of what was discovered on his computer. He had written a number of papers, a lot of them with Western blots, many Western blots. And as it turns out, one of my colleagues, who's an expert on Photoshop, established that all those Western blots came from this one file, which was called by Dr. Venters a scrap file, as in a trash heap, a pile of images. This image is actually a Photoshop with 208 independent layers, each one representing anywhere from one single band to parts of a gel. And what Dr. Venters did for his PhD research and papers, his thesis, was to say, well, I think I've done that experiment. I don't have any data for it. But what I'll do is I'll make a film that looks like what I think I got when I did the experiment. Because he didn't have any notebooks either. So he would take, one image and start making a shell. And none of these are labeled. They have no idea what experiment they came from, not even what year they came from. He just would assemble his figures out of these bits and pieces of images. And so it was pretty serious at the end of the day. So after ORI completed his oversight investigation, Dr. Venters confessed and agreed to a settlement. And the university allowed him to get his MD degree, but took away his PhD degree. And so the bottom line is that ORI can overrule institutional conclusions. The Hajra case happened in Francis Collins' lab. Francis Collins, as you all know probably, is the head of NIH. At the time this happened,